Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we're looking at Rise of the Powers of X issue 3. Um, it's always a tricky one for me because this part of this event is always a little bit more complicated. I think I have to think a lot more when I'm reading this. So I will try and explain it. There probably will be things that I perhaps miss or maybe even misunderstand myself as I do this. So we bring our story with Moira. So this Moira remembers everything from previous lives and is about to try something new with uniting mutant kind Xavier and Magneto together. Mutant solidarity. Also in her mind is not to die, because if she dies before she's 13, her mutant powers don't come into effect and she won't be able to reset if it all goes horribly wrong, which we know in some ways it has. So Xavier is waiting for her, and he has isolated about a mile radius, so nothing is moving, etc. And he says, "Don't run." He's frozen everything. He just wants to talk. And she says, "Xavier, this is the day my gift activates. If you're here for one reason." He says, "No, I want to talk." But yeah, he's got a gun to her head, quite brutally. It's the analogy that has been discussed many a times. What if you went back and killed Hitler as a baby? Which has been discussed many times. So, the X-Life of Moira, written by Kieron Gillen. B Silva is the artist. David Carell is on the colors. VC Clayton Cowles is on the letters. Tom Muller and Jay Bowen on design. So, back in the future, Moira, AI Moira, who the AIs have been successful and exceeded, has been approached by a domina. And he says, "Be quiet," etc. So they're about to attack Nowhere as well. So Domina leaves her a letter saying that you haven't met me, but he did bring this Omega back in the timeline. And we get this whole Omega Sentinels timeline here. And basically this Domina is restricted to this one timeline by these various peoples. But by joining with Moira, potentially they can go into multiple worlds that Moira has created and do lots of things or see different things, etc., etc. So, and she says, "What's in it for me? Education, self-interest. This I can work with." So the proposal still needs to be discussed. Nowhere Place is under attack. Sinister's in Doug's body, is trying to get them out. Rasputin 4, remember, doesn't know that it's Sinister at this point. And Mother Righteous says, "If you let me out, I can escape." And Rasputin says, "Ignore her. If she's Sinister, she's a liar," etc. So they're nearly there, but there is a breach in Nowhere Place. So meanwhile, in the past, so she's trying to find out how it went wrong. It must have gone wrong. Tell me about it, etc. What has happened that makes Xavier do this? And he says he wouldn't have done this before, but he says all you do is betray us, because you're saving your own skin. Because in reality, even though it felt like the mutants sort of betrayed Moira, it seemed a bit bizarre. Moira's self-interest is Moira. Ultimately, she wants to survive, etc. She says, "I don't know, what I did to hurt you, but I want to live. I'm trapped." And he says, "We're all trapped. Did you think being a mutant would actually change that? And you convinced us to do this. We're all fools." And she tries to say, "You're damning yourself," etc. And he says, "You know what? I wanted a family. I wanted to be loved." And he thought he could have both. He was wrong. He was so wrong, etc. So it needs to be a dream rather than this what they did with mutant kind. You know, perhaps it's always meant to be a dream and it's never going to be successful. Sometimes that's what dreams are. They're just dreams. We don't get to see them through as much as we like to, and that applies to the real world. You know, I have dreams, some that I have not been successful with, some I have been successful with. So Doug is still trying to get the tendrils attached, which is almost there. However, he reveals himself, saying, "Don't rush to conclusion." Which she realizes that Xavier's gone in the past to kill Moira, so he's gone in there, and you know, and then he shouts out, "Xavier's going to kill Moira," which yeah, okay. So he's still not pulled the trigger, and she tries to say, "It's hard to kill children, isn't it?" Which, you know, any person with a soul, it's hard to kill. Not that I've ever, you know, wanted to kill children, but, you know, having to kill anyone. Let's be honest. You know, I don't. There's got to be something wrong, seriously wrong, if you think that's. If you do that, you know, or you're put in some sort of circumstances, or sometimes these things are completely out of your control when you're driving a car, etc. Sometimes things do tragically happen. So she tries to play on, is there a kind of way to do this, etc. And he's, you know, always the best way, leaving a corpse of a child in the family's garden. He says, "Yes, it is. Isn't that petrifying?" Because he must be petrified about to do this. So Rasputin comes flying in to save the day. And she says, "This is Sinister plan." He says, "No, it's my plan." And I actually thought there was a hint of Sinister here. However, wait a minute, let me just, he says to her, he doesn't have the patience to explain this. Time is of the essence. And he creates these sort of Madrox, sinister things with those little diamonds, etc. She said, "I'll kill an army to get through to you." He doesn't need to explain anything to everybody, etc. And then I'm not sure if Rachel reaches out to him, but she says, you know, you want to talk about the dream, Krakoa. You can't wipe it out no matter what, and especially not like this. It still needs to have existed and not be wiped out, etc. He says, "You don't know what you're asking of me." He says he won't destroy Krakoa. He'll save mutant kind another way. So he puts something in her mind, and I'll read this. I don't usually read things. I just sort of pick things. He says, "I'm hoping you will make the right decision in the end, that you think of something other than yourself. Listen, Moira." And then he says, "You'll forget this." So they have to go. The Madrox Sinisters will dissolve, and they've got to cover their tracks. Mistakes have been made, etc. We get this whole piece of Moira talking to the Dominum, which, I'll be honest, I didn't read. Perhaps I should have read it. However, she agrees to whatever they've discussed, and they have now got some good news. The Domino has made contact. They want to help us. So, and you know, the Domino can go anywhere, which is probably even worse. So Xavier didn't do it. And he tries to say, "Rasputin, we need Sinister." And he said, like Krakoa need it. Remember what happened. And then Xavier lets her do it. He lets her kill her. And she says, you know, she hated that it felt good. But that's how bad a father he was to her. And he says, you know, you have to feel shame sometimes. It's necessary. And then Rachel comes in. We resurrect the Phoenix. It will work. I know it will. And he says, it's too late, but you should know that I'm sorry. He just kills her. Absolutely bonkers ending. Absolutely bonkers ending. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't surprised because this popped up on Facebook. Sometimes I do make a point to avoid when comic things pop up, and I saw this before, so it wasn't a surprise. But I think if I'd read this before that, I would have gone, "Ooh, whoa, why? Why did you do that?" So we got 2 more issues yet. I guess next issue we'll find out why. He clearly doesn't agree with resurrecting the Phoenix, but surely there was perhaps a way to discuss this, etc. I'm not sure. So yeah, there we go. Another event issue done. I thought it was actually quite cool. I did enjoy it. Lots of good stuff in there, developing the storyline, and I probably understand it a little bit better than issue 1, which is great. You know, first of all, it was kill Moira and then find a better way. So there's still a bit of Xavier in there. And sometimes doing these things isn't always the right thing. Not that any of us can time travel. Then you've obviously got Domina entering the fray with Moira, and then you've got it ending with a very small cast of Xavier and Rasputin 4, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And, you know, you wonder how long is Rasputin going to stand by Professor X's side now that she must understand this plan, because surely she wouldn't have allowed that to happen. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you like my channel, please support by subscribing. Thank you to those subscribed to my channel. As always, look after yourself, very important these days, and embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.